Hey, so just making a exclusive video for Facebook for my Facebook music page. I haven't tried doing this in a long time, and the page has been kind of lacking in content because I don't know what to do. Honestly, I mean, to be honest with you, I don't know what attempts should be made to reach an audience and how you should go about doing that. But I thought I would take the opportunity, given this platform, and a couple, you know, trying to get things going a little bit, just in terms of letting people know that I'm doing this and why, unveil my plot, as it were. But yeah, my album will be coming out November 27th, 2019, the day before Thanksgiving and the day before my birthday, and it's going to be called The Less Gone. I've gone through a lot of titles. I thought it was going to be called Imperial Nights, and then it turned out that title had already been used in a novel written in the 70s. So I decided not to use that because I actually I'm pretty stringent on that you shouldn't use someone's title if it's been used before. Some people don't care. Some people really don't give a shit about that. But I do. I also, I mean, when I was first thinking about the album, like 2 years ago, probably not long after the other one came out, probably in the autumn. That one came out in the summer. I was actually thinking of calling it Notes on a Dream, but that title had also been used. So The Less Gone isn't entirely original. It just hasn't been, no one's used it on an album before, but it is, it's actually taken from a Edgar Allan Poe poem, Dream Within a Dream. And what happened was it's actually a pretty, how I kind of came across that poem is a little interesting. I was doing a show at Caffeine Underground late last summer, and I had recently written a song called Camellia, which is going to be on this album. And Camellia is a song I'm really fond of, and I said to myself recently, I'm working so hard on my novel. It's taking up so much of my creative energy, as it needs to, because it's a very enveloping activity, and in a lot of different ways. You know, it's the consistency of the work and thinking about what you're doing, and definitely the hardest I've ever worked on anything in my life. So I haven't had a lot left for songwriting. I do have some pretty good melodies saved, and I'd like to write lyrics for them. I tried writing a new song a couple days ago. I have this melody. I want something real. Boom, 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 boom. I want something real. I had that melody for 2 months. I knew when I came to me, I was like, oh, that could be a really good song. You know, some melodies come to you, you record them, and kind of forget about them. Then there's other ones where you're like, oh, I gotta do something with that. It can take like years too. Like for me, it can take like 2 years sometimes. I'll go back, something will come back to me. I'll be like, oh yeah, like remember that. But yeah, well, what's been going on is I just haven't had the energy to really do the kind of songwriting I like to do consistently. And I was just in the course of being in this mode where the novel's really taking precedence. I said to myself, I'm nowhere near where I was when I was writing like Camellia last summer, and a couple other songs last summer. At the Mercy of a Melody. Those are two songs that are going to be on the new album, and I feel like they're two of my best songs, easily. And I wrote them, well, I wrote At the Mercy of a Melody in the winter. I went back and rewrote it. But yeah, I'm just not there. And that happens, you know, it's weird, man. Like, you know, now that I've been doing this for a long time, I at one point, I tried organizing things by year, because things are completely disorganized when it comes to, like, my archive. I don't even remember when I wrote things, and I just like to know. But I even noticed doing that in the kind of loose way I was doing it. I was like, wow, like that year I wrote way more good songs than this year. And I didn't think that at the time, because sometimes you don't know either. Sometimes I'll write something that I really like when I write it, and then it doesn't hold up, and I end up not really going back to it, and you don't know why. So I'm not in a really amazing place right now. It's actually from a songwriting standpoint, and it's a good time to be going back and re-recording songs and stuff like that. So for the album, because I'm not doing a ton of writing, I should be done with the novel, at least this phase of the novel, where I can send it and kind of let it go and see what happens. In a month, and then hopefully I can get back to writing good songs, really, really good songs, because I enjoy doing that. I just had a really good melody come to me today, and I can't do anything with it because I mean, it's just an odd, it's really, I mean, working, the novels, like, I've never, I've pushed it so far, in terms of what I'm doing. Um, the kind of June last year to January, very, very hard into it. Then this whole summer, and I feel at times, really, really plowed under by it. I love it doing it, and I read it. I'm like, oh, this should be a good book. I mean, people. I'm hoping people do enjoy it and things like that, but it hasn't. It's sometimes I was about to say, just to tell you, like today I'm going out. I'm seeing a show. I'm really excited to see. I saw two really good shows last night. James Maddock and Emily Murr at Rockwood. And tonight I'm seeing Fastball. It's like a band I've loved literally since childhood. Really, first album I ever bought with my own dinero was All the Pain Money Can Buy. And I still love them, and I'm really excited to see them tonight. They're such a good band. That's like, I I don't get annoyed, but I get like their albums are tremendous. I mean, I was just listening to Harsh Light a Day on my way to school the other day, and All the Pain Money Could Buy, obviously, and then you got Keep Your Wig On in 2004, Little White Lies in 2009, Step Into Light. But Keep Your Wig On, it's a great album, like, and I wish more people knew what a great band they are, like, so I'm seeing them tonight. But my day is like, I'm gonna write for a couple hours before I leave, and I'm gonna go to the concert, and I just you run out of time, and I'm not even, I'll be going back to work soon consistently, so just not a lot of time for songwriting right now. So I'm working on this album. And that I can do because all these songs are written already, and I do want to talk a little bit about that. Yeah, I came upon the title, "The Less Gone." To kind of get back to where I was from the myriad of digressions I just did. I was doing a show at Caffeine Underground, and I think I was debuting Camellia, and having an interest in fiction and poetry, I felt like I wanted to read something before I played Camellia. Because the thing I really like about this song is it makes me into a character when I sing it. And I don't have a lot of songs like that. I mean, a lot of things you write from a personal standpoint, based on your experience, observations, feelings, and things of that nature. And I still don't kind of know like where the song came from. I had the melody for, I think, a year and a half, and I didn't do anything with it. And the melody I called Comets, and it was just a chorus. It was a like comets in flight. And that's kind of like all I had. I remembered it it was like one of those melodies I remembered, and I was like, I should try to do something with this. And I never did for a very, very long time. And actually, it was weird. It when I thought about the melody, the feelings it gave me were kind of snow, winter, stars, thinking like maybe some remote place where you can really see the stars and the snow. Maybe it's December. Things like that would pop into my mind, and I guess I didn't really know what to do with it because that's kind of again, right from the start, like it put me in a different like kind of frame of mind where I didn't really know what to do with it. And then what happened was the melody came back to me like a new melody, except it was that one, and it was like a year and a half later, and it kind of just came back to me. I was like, all right, I really got to do something with this. And for whatever reason, it really came together. And it turned into this song about this guy who can't sleep. And in these hours of kind of liminality, if you will, while the rest of the world seemingly asleep, everything he's done, accomplished, has. I mean, there's an illusion to the fact that he lives on this vast estate. So I don't really get into what he did to have all the property, but the important thing is he has this person on his mind late at night, and that's all that matters in those moments. Maybe not so much in his normal waking life, but in those moments, it's all he's thinking about. And it's this girl, Camellia. And from there, sometimes you write like a first line. That happened with At the Mercy of a Melody too, and it gets you like right into it. And I think those are probably the best songs I write, where it's not such a struggle to figure out what it is. It just is right from the beginning, and you might rewrite some words, change this, change that, do some editing, but the fundamental thing that it is was there from the beginning. And when that's not there, when it's just the chorus and you're trying to find the verses, which is kind of what happened with the most recent song I tried to write, I Want Something Real, that song or that melody, trying to make a song out of that, like, that's what can happen, man. You get kind of lost in the process. You get lost kind of in the mechanism of songwriting, of like, I'm trying to build this thing, trying to build this watch, like make this watch, and you're trying to put all the little screws in, and you're trying to do everything right. But if you don't have the essence of it, I know what this is about, I know what this story is about, if you just have a really good chorus or a really pretty melody, but the song isn't alive. The song isn't an organism. Organism. Right from jump. That always helps. So with Camellia, it was like that, and that is why it's one of the favorite songs I wrote. And when I was thinking of things to read before reading Camellia, my mind just flashed to this moment before Nightmare on Elm Street movie. I think it might have been Nightmare on Elm Street 1 that I saw when I was like a kid, and it was Edgar Allan Poe. It was an excerpt from an Edgar Allan Poe poem, which started the movie, and I was like, that's perfect. That's perfect for what this song's about. Edgar Allan Poe and this like moodiness. So I tried to find it, and I just Googled Edgar Allan Poe poem, and I knew I had dreams. And maybe it wasn't even Edgar Allan Poe. Maybe I was wrong about like who the author was, but instead I found that poem, A Dream Within a Dream, and it was just so perfect. It was just such a perfect companion to Camellia. So I read that before I played it, and I thought I played it really, really well that day. And I was really happy with the performance. I was like, that was nice. And then when I was thinking of album titles, like I said, I was kicking around a few different titles, and I really thought I had it with Imperial Nights, and then I ended up needing to change it. because it'd been used in a novel and I wasn't comfortable kind of using it. So I just happened to be rereading. Well, I decided on the album I'd read the poem before the song. So A Dream Within a Dream occupies a track on the track listing. And while doing that, while reading the poem for the album, I was like, I kind of honed in on the less gone, the less gone from the poem. And I was like, that's it. Like that's the title of the album. And it kind of clarified a lot of things for me because when I was thinking of calling it Imperial Nights, the subject matter of the album was a little more nebulous. I had like all these songs. I mean, here's the thing, like, if I had my druthers, I wouldn't necessarily even be putting out another album. Not because my first album was such a smash hit, but I do believe it's best to wait 3-4 years between, because an album is a big thing. You should be taking like a kind of file of songs that have been long gestating, so you can kind of look at them more objectively and kind of make those decisions about what you want to include on this thing that's for public consumption. Because you have your songwriting work as a private artist, writing the songs and taking them out and playing them like I do, which I'm, by the way, playing live is a whole different story. I guess I'll make another video vlog about that. Do people still do this? I'm like speaking like the language of like 2010 right now. But whatever. But yeah, like that's kind of like your private practice that you make public when you play, and then when you put an album out, that's really making your work public, and it's like, this is what I want you to hear. This is my best. So I do take that seriously. But the thing with me is, like, I've been writing songs for 9 years, and until probably last summer, I was still doing it really, because I was probably writing like 3 or 4 songs a month. 2 or 3 songs a month, something like that. So I have a lot of songs. And that's why I'm putting out another album, because I have enough songs to put an album out. Not just like kind of like, oh, I have enough songs to put out like an okay album. I have enough songs to put like a really good album out. So that's what I want to do. So that's why I'm putting this album out. So that's kind of the background of it. I was probably thinking of putting it off a little bit longer. My other one came out last summer, and this is going to come out in kind of fall/winter of 2019, so it's only like a year and a half, so it's kind of like not an ideal amount of time to go by, but whatever. What I'm working on now, in addition to recording the songs, is I've only recorded 3. I think it's going to be about a 13-song album with a few vignettes. I want to put more vignettes in it, more spoken word, and other things, kind of make it more immersive. But yeah, that's what I was saying. I totally lost track of what I was saying. When I called it The Less Gone, and you read the poem and see what he's referring to with that phrase, the less gone, it became more clear to me what I was going to make the subject matter. I would say my first album, which was Blue City Dawn, was really about my relationship to the city. In a lot of ways, is very. I just kept thinking New York City album, New York City album, New York City album. I wish in some cases I would have been thinking, make that sound better, make that sound better. From the production standpoint. By the way, this album is going to sound so much better from a production standpoint than the last one, which I'm excited about. But yeah, that was kind of my thing. I wanted to make a really New York City album, being, a New York City resident my whole life, and Queens resident my whole life. This album, I see the Unify things going to be something else that relates to that line in the poem, and that really clarified things for me going forward to write about relationships, basically. And you have, like, I'll show you this. This is part of that I put together. This is a list of the songs that I have under consideration for the recording for the album, and the ones that are starred are songs I need to rewrite, in my opinion, before they're finished. And this is what I have so far. I hope you can see that relatively clearly. That's the final track list. What's actually going to be on the album. Except that you see that number 4 song, Miss Night, that's going to be... fuck, I really... I'm up against it. I gotta get to my novel, man. So I can't do this too much longer. But Miss Night is going to be the last song on the album. And I'm super happy with how that recording came out. That's a song for another project, really. A concept album, of which I have written Miss Night and another song that's not finished. And I came up with that idea like 3 years ago or 4 years ago, and I just haven't been able to write those songs because they're so specific. It's basically about New York City sinking in 2080. And the character is undercover infiltrating the resistance movement that's kind of overthrowing the government while the city's sinking. So it's all kind of pointless. It would be a dark album. I think that's kind of a problem with it. I haven't found a way to have it have more tonality and everything. But it's something I do want to do at some point. I mean, I'm going to put this song on this album because I probably feel like deep down I'm probably never going to write that album. It's kind of like an abandoned idea. But Miss Night is part of that. But let me, I'll show you if I have... Yes. Okay. Which one? Oh, this one. Okay, 3:29 a.m. Not finished. This is how Miss Night came out. I'll show you the first minute. I put some effects on it to kind of, again, that's here. While it burns. So, I've always really liked that song. I didn't necessarily think... And, when you make a decision like that, it's like a... Whatever it is, it's... let me see how long that song is. It's 13 minutes. It's about 12 minutes of music, and then there's the rain in the beginning, and there's more rain at the end. So... just to talk about making it out, a decision like that to put that song on, and as consequence of that is I really can't put another really, really long song on there. And I do have another song I really like that I think would fit really well on the album called Rapunzel, that I would like to be on there. So the only solution for that really is to have it make sense is, put one long song midway through the track listing and another long song at the end of the track listing. Because obviously you can't put them back to back or even that close together because, they'll just... I don't want things to be bogged down to that end. I mean, I'm relatively, a traditional thinker when it comes to, songwriting and making an album. I like structure. And I adhere to rules because it's what I believe works. I think you can do a lot of creative things within pre-existing concepts. So, yeah, that's kind of where I am with it. I'm probably not going as fast as I would like because I'm really busy. I have three songs recorded, like I said, for some reason, which is actually on my SoundCloud page right now. Which got such an enthusiastic reaction that I'm probably not going to bother putting any other singles out because I just don't feel like wasting my time like promoting singles. It's just I'm expressing some of my discontent with, I feel like SoundCloud, has just I appreciate the service. I'm able to post a podcast because I can host it on there, which I do appreciate. But at the same time, at a certain point, they just completely change their model. And the shame of it for me is like I had more people listening to my songs like 7, 8 years ago when I really wasn't that good. Now that like I feel like I'm better at what I'm doing, the that site anyway, you put something up and it's like you're putting it into the ether. Whereas when you put something up like 7, 8 years ago, it really did get listened to, get like 50 listens, 60 listens. Small thing, wouldn't make a huge difference in my life, but it's like a little thing like that where when you're an indie artist like me, or unsigned, kind of underground, it makes you feel even more like you're up against it. When you have this site where you would at least feel like, hey, I'm posting something, and someone's listening to it. People still do listen to things on there, which is not songs anymore. At least with me, people listen to my podcast. Not even covers, man. Like that was kind of the final frontier. You would post like a cover and it would get like a lot of listens, and that's not even happening anymore. For what I can see is like they just changed the algorithm, they changed the front page, and it's now all geared toward, record companies promoting, which is really sad, man, because SoundCloud was cool. Like it was a cool website. It was a cool website for indie artists, and it wasn't about just the record company writing them a check to put their shit on the front page. And I kept reading they were having money issues, so I'm sure that's the rationale behind it and how it happened. But I really I put it music out, like I'm putting this album out, I mean, for my own enjoyment, and again to kind of, I want it to reach people, of course. I want people to enjoy it, but if you just leave all these songs just floating around, even in your consciousness, if you don't put them somewhere, it feels incomplete. And that's why albums exist still. Because obviously, it's easy to say the invention of the album was a marketing thing. I mean, I totally understand that point of view. It was a way for record companies to put product out, but the reason why it's endured, I mean, if it were just as simple as that, they wouldn't exist anymore. So there is artistic merit to an album, and that's why I'm doing it. But yeah, so I think that's kind of everything I wanted to talk about. I am, like I said, I'm trying to get a show booked for a release. My thing is with the release show. Sorry about that. My hand was getting tired. My thing with the release show is I'd like to do it somewhere special, that I haven't played before, and I'm hoping to book other artists with me on the bill. That's like really what I'm hoping to do. And if I have to settle for playing a place that I've played before, on the Lower East Side or what have you, fine. But I want the space to kind of reflect the uniqueness of putting the album out. I mean, it's not, I'm not just doing another show. I'm putting this album out. I am torn about doing the CD baby physical copy thing. If I do that, I'm just gonna have like probably 20 copies made. And to that end, if I do go in that direction where it's actually going to be a physical thing, I'm going to contact a photographer and do like a professional cover and stuff like that instead of using one of my own photographs. And I'll do that. My thing is I don't want to waste money. I don't want to, have 50 of them kind of made when, there's going to be it's going to have a limited audience, presumably. So I'll keep you updated on that, though. If I do like a photo shoot and stuff like that, I'm probably leaning toward doing it. I mean, I'm realistic about the audience I have. Um, I would like that to change in time, but um, it's hard, when you're basically doing everything on your own. Not to complain about it, but that's just the reality of the situation. And uh, I've enjoyed playing. I've been playing live since 2013. Um, and I've had some really good experiences doing it, and some bad ones. um, it's gone both ways, and indifferent too. Where I'm up doing my thing, and then it ends, and it's over, and it's whatever. But the point is, it's a very odd time. I feel like to be a musician. I'm waiting for that to change, because, like I said, I've been doing that since I was 24, 20, 24, 25. And it's just kind of, I feel like culture itself is in stasis in a lot of ways. I have my own theories about that. Popular culture is illusory for the most part anyway, but I do find it interesting, like how much inertia there is right now, out there in the world, as a musician. Uh, Things just aren't really moving, honestly. Do I have toothpaste in my beard? No. But my whole thing is like, you can compare 1988 and 1995, and you'd see a discernible difference. I feel like, and maybe I'm just out of touch, but I feel like if you ran that same experiment now, 2013 to 2019, at least if I did in New York City on the Lower East Side, where I play a lot, or wherever I might be, stagnant. Really stagnant. Like, people, more or less, it's the same thing going on. I do think, as musicians, we could have way more ideas about what we're doing, and there's kind of no excuse in a way for what we're doing. We're just doing our own, we all just keep doing our own thing. We have our own things going. We put out our EPs, and we put out our albums, and we hope for something to happen. And I know it doesn't really seem like there's any alternative, and I respect people putting music out. I'm putting music out, so if I didn't value the act of putting music out, I wouldn't be doing it. But at the same time, so I feel like social media has played a huge role in things being so stagnant, because it puts you in such an individualistic bubble where you really do feel like you're doing everything on your own, or you have to do everything on your own. And I know that I could make more of an effort to connect with more people, and I'm actually trying to do that right now, in a real way or whatever. But I think we do get in our own bubbles so much, and people aren't communicating as much en masse, and that's what causes progressions and changes and stylistic shifts. It's like a significant group of people finding a new way of doing things, and what if, like, musicians coordinated more with visual artists, and played sets at the opening of gallery. I mean, I know the shit like that does happen, but like, something needs to change with the model. Aside from the fact that it's such a dead end financially, I mean, I think that goes without saying. But even just from an experiential standpoint, like, I feel like it's a bit stagnant. I mean, the novelty of, okay, like, you're playing a show in New York City, you know, that can't be the only thing carrying along a whole generation of songwriters, and I'm not even getting into other genres, because I don't feel like it's my place to speak on it. But I'm going to be 32 in a couple months. So I guess I can be classified as a millennial. But we see all these images of the individual band and the individual artist, and what they do, and it's just not gonna happen for most people. That's the reality. So, getting more satisfaction out of the experience of being a musician would be nice. I'm speaking for myself. I mean, someone who feels similar to me would definitely empathize with what I'm saying. Somebody else who has had more of a communal experience wouldn't. So I think it kind of depends on the experience you have to a degree. And I think being a solo songwriter like myself and other people, I think that's like a whole different thing too. Because bands network more or something. I don't know what it is. But anyway, I haven't done one of these in so long, so it was nice kind of catching up. I always like, you know, I don't want to put forward a false image of myself, and I actually really care about that. I'm excited to be working on this album. I think it's going to be really good. It's going to be called The Less Gone, again, to do a little promotion at the end of this video. The Less Gone. It's coming out November 27th. Maybe I'll put another single out. But at the same time, yeah, I wish things were a little different from my experiences of being a musician. I mean, again, it's the difference of like the private and the public. I'm very, very happy with the work I've done over the last few years. But it'd be nice if there was something a little more concrete to have been gained from everything. It's a weird feeling to feel like you're doing all this stuff and the show ends and it's over, but and you say, like, you know, what do I have tangible from the situation that I can really point to? But does everyone kind of feel like that? You know, it's interesting. There might be people who play in front of 30,000 people, you know, and feel the same way I do, and that's really weird and interesting. And it might just have more to do with making music, because music's such a temporary thing to do. But anyway, let me close this out because I really need to start fucking writing, because I'm on the clock here. But god damn it, there we go. Let me play a little something for you before I go. This is gonna be the first track on the album. Is that what I want to play? Or do I want to play something else? Oh shit, I don't remember the chords to that. Shit. I hate when that happens. I literally just played this song that I was about to play. Practiced it. I feel like Bane. I adopted the dog. No, I like practiced the song, memorized it. Now I can't remember it when I wanted to play it. Alright, I'll play this song for you. 2, 3. It's 3. This is At the Mercy of a Melody, and have a great day, and I'll continue updating my process here making this album. I see you on the sidewalk at nighttime in the rain, head dripping, head tilted, 20 stories where the yellow crane is up top. And a man in a box reaches for a black cat trapped on the window pane. Then you continue to the anxious crowd gathered behind the blue barricade. They have an electric field. People conduct when simultaneously excited and afraid. There are rumors of lightning, people debating how much the crane savior gets paid. And to think I'd been so alone, scrounging hope from a screen on my cell phone, walking with an orchestra in my head, passing another human being, making his cardboard bed. What good does a song ever do? What color is your love? I'd guess a shade of blue. Under the marquee at noontime in the heat, another atom outside the garden where we said we'd one day meet. For your sellout, without a doubt, your mother crying in the front row seat. We prayed for one thing meant to be, but so many girls can melodize a beat. You trusted me, I said sign their papers. They wanted our songs and we came cheap. Our lives entwined the night that cat survived, but now you won't even wave from across the street. Hey Vicky, do you still live at the mercy of a melody? Do you tell yourself your world inside is enough company? Do you travel light? Maintain a low overhead when it all feels empty? Do you bring your guitar to bed? And what good now does a song ever do if when we say I love you, it's not really true? All right. Hope you enjoyed At the Mercy of a Melody. That's on the album. And if you watch this whole fucking thing, man, let me know. I'll send you a Christmas card.